During this presentation, I'll talk about how to improve quality, or at least to try to improve quality. First of all, we need to start with definition of what is quality. In my opinion, due to my research, it's following best principles and practices. It's about calisthenics, which is code readability. It's following coding standards like PSR2 or Symfony standard or something else. And also it's which will help it's a review of and visualization of metrics, class dependencies, and data flows. Speaking about principles, there are described some main principles. So most important principle, I think it's solid, which is single responsibility, open closed, least code substitution principle. You all know that. Yagni, don't repeat yourself, the law of Demeter, Boy Scout rule, and there are a lot of them else. Calisthenics, it's most important part of writing proper code, which will be easy to maintain with time. I want to describe each rule if you don't mind. Avoid else statement. Usually, if we specify if statement, we can avoid else statement easily. We should use early return from functions to avoid nesting. One dot per line, it's law of Demeter, or in case of PHP, it's one arrow per line. It will help to eliminate nested objects. One level of indentation per method. If your method have more nested ifs than one, you have to think about refactoring of this method. Don't abbreviate. This rule is related to classes, methods, variables, all that stuff. You don't have to abbreviate. Make it readable and explanatory. Single responsibility for classes and methods. We like small and understandable classes and methods. And single responsibility will help to maintain this. Meaningful naming we already discussed. I should remove it. Avoid long lines. We don't like to read long lines. Due to some standards, maximum line number is 80. Due to some else standards, it's 120. Extract complex conditions to methods. For some of you maybe have seen like long conditions for 18 symbols. You have to extract them to separate function. It will improve readability as well. And also, if you use the same string, please extract it to constant. That's it. Best practices, TDD, pair programming, that's what we do. Review metrics at the end of the sprint. Before you commit your code, you have to think, what does my code supposed to do? What I had to do? What have I done? And also, I'm going to remove, it can be automated easily, remove or update PHP blocks. And sometimes automation don't help, so you have to double check if everything is covered by tests and are tests meaningful. Previous part of presentation, it was about theory. This part is about practice. How can we automate this? How can we don't think a lot of this? First part of automation is sniffers. Sniffers are static analyzers. What does it mean? These guys don't run our code. It just analyze. They just analyze our code regarding some patterns. Easiest way is to use IDE linter. Also, refactor tool in IDE is very helpful for extracting conditions and constants for our code. Also, it's very useful to use code sniffers. PHP CS is, which stands for code sniffer, is most popular. Test coverage, that's what we have, and it really it super helps with improving code quality and stability. Code fixer, it shows deprecated or unused code. Copy paste detector can show us what do we have to refactor. Also, there is one huge library, PHP mess detector. It helps a lot with unused code, complicated conditions, bugs, security, and all that stuff. I'm going to talk a little bit about code sniffer. It helps with calisthenics. It can be very fine-tuned for your purpose, for your project, for your tasks. It has around 500 parameters which you can tune, and as a result you can have check of calisthenics, code style, missing PHP doc blocks, spaces around some operators, indentation, encoding, and a lot of stuff. And also, which is super good, it can be easily integrated to our IDE, PHP Storm or IntelliJ IDEA, and then it can do it right here, right, without running any additional commands. Dynamic analyzers, it's tooling which help us with running our code, and it can show us dependencies between classes, data flows, how our classes are nested. Here is a review of some tools. The one I most liked, it's produced by Sensio Labs. It's made especially for PHP, but also supports JavaScript and some other languages. It's just great. You have to take a look, or I can make a presentation separately about this. The third part of code quality, it's visualization. Visualization can help us to detect not optimal data flow or dependencies which aren't needed, or unnecessary levels of abstractions. In our IDEs we have analyze data flow from here to here. You can click on any method and show me that data flow to this point, and it will show you. Also, you can in our IDEs you can select a class, context menu, diagrams, and it will show you UML diagram of all the classes which are nested or sub child classes. Also, here is there are tool which called Blackfire and New Relic. They are slightly different, but they do pretty much the same. They help with profiling, debugging in production, also shows flow dependencies, yeah, all that stuff, and also metrics, and it's good for logging. My proposition, how, due to this investigation, what is my suggestion to improve our code quality? First of all, we can install code sniffer and mess detector support for our IDEs. It will help you right here write your code without running any commands. It's a little bit annoying, but it improves. Second part, I can suggest to use GrumPHP. GrumPHP doesn't allow you to commit code which doesn't confirm confirm our standards. It just doesn't allow you to commit and says no. It can be fine-tuned with all these libraries, unit tests, and it's basically just like aggregator for all the libraries, for all the tools what we've got. Super useful. A third part, we can use a Scrutinizer, SonarQube, or something else for dynamic analysis and metrics. One of good practices, like Rolf said, it's quite good at the end to monitor some metrics. If we'll do it, it will be super useful for us, and we can see actual improvement of our code base. I don't know what's that. Yeah, what are profits from all this stuff? Our code is easy to read, easy to maintain, easy to test, easy to write, and more stable. And all our team will write code in the same standard. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for your attention.